Hey there, cute viewers, welcome aboard. If you enjoy the video, then consider subscribing and turn on those notifications for more upcoming videos. Charlie knew life as Ice Princess. Charlie Quinn was jumping up and down on his bed playing his electric guitar when a knock came on the door. Since his mother died, Charlie had decorated his walls in Playboy centerfolds and became a handful for his father to handle. With a strung of the strings, Charlie leapt from the bed and landed on the floor with a thump. Charlie's father entered with a letter in his hand. "Charlie, I'm so proud of you," Mr. Quinn said as he showed him the mail as the two had butted one another. "You'll be the first male member of the Quinn family to go to college. You do me proud in both the classrooms and on the football field." "Nothing to it, Dad," Charlie said as he gave his father a high five and got one back in return. "I've been packing all week. I was the star in high school. What school with a football team wouldn't want NFL material?" A week later, Mr. Quinn drove Charlie to college in his hardware van. The frat houses were already going crazy with membership drives. Guys in togas with signs stood on the side of the road, waving cars down. "Join now," they chanted. "Join now." "Oh, man," Charlie cried out as he pounded his fists on the dashboard. He watched as a chair smashed through a dorm's upstairs window and smashed the window of a parked car below. "This is going to be the time of my life." Mr. Quinn pulled up in front of Charlie's registered dorm house, and the two started to gather his things. Taking a few items at a time, Mr. Quinn helped Charlie settle in. A guy in the fencing club ran through the hall with his foil, while another man with his face painted blue led his girlfriend in a dorm room. The guy put a stolen hotel do not disturb sign on the door. "Catch you during winter break, wild man." Mr. Quinn smacked his son as he took off. As Charlie started to put up his favorite posters, his roommate and girlfriend came in kissing. Not even noticing Charlie, they dropped on a bed and started to undress one another. Charlie took off across campus and down the football field. By this time, he reached it, the sun was setting, sending rays of light that glistened off the blades of grass and filled his heart with his first love. He pulled out a 6-pack of beer and sat on the bleachers while chugging them down. He couldn't wait until after school practice. When the sun rose up the next morning, its glow woke Charlie up with a hangover. "Ooh," he moaned as he sat up on the bench. He stumbled to his feet in the clothes he wore the night before and shuffled off to first class. "Big night last night?" the math teacher asked as he shuffled in late to class. The teacher took one look at his face and clothes while smelling his beer breath. "Just take a seat and try to stay awake for your algebra lesson." Charlie didn't really care. In high school, the teachers had always fixed his grades and let him slide on tests because of his football career. Because of his feels, he soon fell asleep for nearly all of the math class. He slept right through the room-free period, and then woke up to find himself in somebody else's class. "Welcome to the wonderful wide world of the internet," the teacher said as he wheeled a computer in front of them. "With this, you'll have access to just about anything you need to find out for your class studies. For example, history." With a press of a button, a document of the ride of Paul Reeve appeared on the monitor. The whole class laughed when the teacher said, "Some say it is better than some library. Don't tell Mrs. Hassel, the college librarian, I said so." After classes, Charlie was the first one changed in the locker room. With a grunt, he tackled his locker to the floor. "That's the spirit," the coach declared, as Charlie and some of the other guys head-butted on another. "Hit the field." Screaming at the top of their lungs, they ran out and formed 2 practice huddles. "Break!" They took up their positions on the field and charged at one another. Charlie was so cocky that he wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. Charlie was broadsided with his helmet knocked off before his head hit a tackle dummy's support pole. His head cracked with blood flowing down between his eyes and over his nose. "Someone call a doctor!" The player who hit him shouted as he helped Charlie up and found his body as limp as a rag doll. "Help me!" Charlie stared up at the sun's blinding light. As the light toned down, Charlie found himself in line before an altar. A handsome man dressed in white stood before him. "Welcome, Charlie Quinn," the man said as he opened a book on the altar. "Let's see what we have on you." "Hey, fool!" Charlie shouted as he looked around and saw nothing. An empty void with just an endless line and a man at an altar. What's going on here? Did I miss something? What happened? You died, the man said as he ran his finger down a list of names. That is strange. The record says that you shouldn't be here for 50 years. Not kidding, butthead, Charlie snapped. Send me back now. Sorry, kiddo. The man waved his hand over the cloud floor, which opened up and acted like a crystal ball. Charlie looked over and watched as his father shouted at a group of doctors, while Charlie laid in bed hooked to life support. Charlie couldn't hear what his dad was saying, but watched as the doctors moved to the life support machine. No, no! Charlie shouted. Dad, don't let them do that! It's no use, the Archangel said. They can't hear you. After the way your mother suffered for years on life support before dying, do you think that your dad would let you suffer the same way? But I'm not dead, Charlie said, turning toward the Archangel. You just said so yourself. You have to put me back in my body. Sorry, Charlie, especially since your record shows no reason to allow you through the gates, the Archangel said, and had him step out of line. Next. Crystal Snow, the Archangel said as he opened the book and then turned to Charlie. Hold it, Charlie. I think I have an idea. What are you talking about? Charlie snapped. You got a way to bring me back to life? I can give you a second chance at life and earn the points to enter the gate, yes, the Archangel said as he looked at Crystal. It will mean a small sacrifice on your part. I don't know what you're talking about, but if it means avoiding eternal punishment, I'm in, Charlie said, as the Archangel approved Crystal's pass into heaven. You're in, Crystal. The Archangel stamped her name in the book as pass. Okay, Charlie, you're going back to the hospital. Charlie woke up to the sound of the life support machine blipping away. He let out a soft moan, and his legs slid effortless under the bed sheets. He immediately felt something missing and reached forward for his treasures. As he did, he found a pair of breasts in the wall. What the hell? I see you're awake, Crystal, a doctor said as he stepped into the room. Your vitals seem to be okay, and you should be ready to check out by this afternoon. Crystal, Charlie said in a daze as he felt how smooth his face was. There must be a mistake. My name is... Miss Snow, are you all right? The doctor asked, as Charlie realized he'd better keep his mouth shut about who he really was, at least until he got some answers. Fine, the new Crystal Snow said as she felt back, feeling the bounce of her unconfined breasts. Just a little out of... What happened? You were in a car accident, Miss Snow. You were quite lucky to come out of it without any real damage, though we weren't sure if you were going to come out of your coma or not. That afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Snow drove their new daughter home from the hospital. Charlie was glad to be wheeled to the car. He wasn't looking forward to his first time in high heels. It would be touch enough to get used to his new fingernail length. When they got home, Crystal's parents didn't think anything about her needing help inside. Charlie teetered in the 5-inch heels, as his new father had Crystal lean on him all the way to the bedroom. After he left, he took off the heels and stared at the full-length mirror on the back of the door. Looking at Crystal's body and room, he learned Crystal was a freshman cheerleader in high school. She was also into ice skating, his second favorite sport. As he suddenly felt the urge to relieve himself, Charlie got his first lesson in peeing, sitting down. At least Charlie, with his football injuries and his past life, spent enough time in hospital gowns so that sleeping in a nightgown wasn't too bad. When Charlie pulled out the nightgown, he found Crystal's dildo hidden beneath. With a curious look on his face, he made sure the door was locked and tried it out. He couldn't remember having such an orgasm as a man. The next day, Charlie cut Crystal's legs several times in his attempt at shaving them. He soon wondered how women stayed warm in the winter in their cheerleader outfits. When he was on the field, he only thought of getting girls out of their clothes, not getting himself into them. Are you sure you don't want to stay home today, honey? Mrs. Snow asked, as Charlie had finished Crystal's usual grapefruit diet breakfast. I'm sure. Charlie smiled as he finished eating up and went to the bus stop shivering. He may not know what Crystal's classes were, but anything beat playing 20 questions with Crystal's mother, or having her pestering him all day. Lucky for Charlie, Crystal's cheerleading best friend, Cleo was in all her classes. The day didn't go by that bad, and Charlie especially liked being able to do splits without hurting himself. Though, even with a sports bra, it took time to get used to the movement of his new breasts. "Hey, Crystal, how about shining yourself my way?" the quarterback of the football team said as he followed Charlie into their shared science class. Charlie soon learned one of the good things about being a girl's is wrapping a guy around one's finger. Using Crystal's charms, he soon had the quarterback doing the class science project for him. After school, Charlie picked up Crystal's ice skates and joined Cleo and some of the other girls at the indoor rink. Charlie wasn't any more fond of a girl's choice in short-skirt skating clothing, but didn't say anything about it. "The new Victoria's Secrets opened up at the mall," Janet said suddenly as the other girls squealed with glee. Charlie could only sigh as he replaced the ice skates with high heels and hobbled out of the rink. Soon as the other girls were fighting over bargains, Charlie was collapsed exhausted in a chair with shoes removed. "Oh, my sore feet." He was glad not to be wearing toe-pinching nylons to add to his pain. "Miss, may I ask you your name?" a man asked as stepped over to Charlie. All he could think of was that a pickup line was coming next, but instead, he was handed a business card. "I saw your great figure skating back at the rink. I'm always looking for Olympic hopefuls." Me, Charlie thought to himself. An Olympic figure skater. "What a break for you, Crystal," Cleo squealed. "Just image the Olympics, getting a gold medal, maybe even having your face on a cereal box." Charlie, knowing more than to get in a car with a stranger, took a separate car than the man back to the Snow's house. Soon the contracts were signed, and the man became Crystal's coach. Charlie didn't like the outfits the coach picked out any more than the one Crystal had bought when skating for fun. Charlie had to admit when he saw himself dressed that he looked lovely. "That's it," the coach said as Charlie skated backwards, did a triple and landed gracefully. "Just keep it up and you'll be sure to win." Days of practice became weeks. Weeks soon became months. Charlie found himself becoming kinder to Crystal's friends and sweeter in nature overall. After getting used to periods, Charlie even started to enjoy the things they enjoyed as much as he found he enjoyed figure skating. When the time of the Olympics came around, Charlie was ready. He timed Crystal's body to the music in perfect rhythm to the music. Even though some of the other girls were good too, Crystal proved the best overall. Charlie lived a long, fruitful life, learning the family was more important than sports. When married became the type of mother, he tried to picture Mrs. Quinn to before. Charlie wasn't even disappointed when Crystal and the former football quarterback had a daughter instead of son. When Charlie finally died a grandmother, Charlie had no problem getting into heaven this time. There, the real Crystal and both Crystal and Charlie's parents were waiting to greet and love their new daughter and friend for all eternity. For after earning his wings and halo, the barefoot and white gown angel decided being female forever wasn't a bad thing at all.